Did you know that there is actually a psychology behind the marketing strategies and tactics that you see online? You may often see pricing that ends in a 7 or a 5 or a 9, and all of that is based on psychology. And one of the books that really helped me to tap into understanding the psychology behind marketing is a book by Jeff Walker called The Product Launch Formula. And in this book, he breaks down 9 mental triggers that actually influence the average customer's buying behaviors as well as buying decisions. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you 3 of the marketing tactics from the product launch formula that have actually helped me when it comes to increasing conversions with my own products and services. So make sure you grab your pen, your paper, you pull up a chair so that you can catch these tips. And if you cannot stick around to the end, then check out the lunch resources that I have laid out for you in the description box below. Welcome back to my channel. I am Ebony Evaughn. I am a business coach and lunch strategist, and I use my degree in business management, my MBA, as well as my work experience in human resources and instructional design, and my almost 10 years of entrepreneurial experience to help other service-based entrepreneurs to actually grow their businesses online. Welcome to Launchmas, which is my own personal spin on Vlogmas, where as a thank you gift to everyone who has supported my channel throughout the year, I am giving up some of my best lunch strategies and marketing tips to help make your next lunch your best lunch. All right, and in today's video, we are talking about different strategies that can actually help you to boost your conversions during your launch process. In my previous Launchmas video where I talked about how to build a dedicated audience, I talked about how we live in such a microwave society where people want results fast, right? And they're not willing to go through the process to actually implement and go through the steps that you need to build a strong foundation for a sustainable online business model. And one of those things that have kind of gotten lost by the wayside when it comes to online businesses, especially in the coaching space and in the service industry, is the law of reciprocity. And this is one of the tips that Jeff Walker talks about in the product launch formula, where he says, like, when you give people something first, they feel more entitled to buy from you later. And not only is this something that Jeff Walker talks about in the product launch formula, but this is also something that one of my favorite YouTubers and content creators has talked about on his channel. One of my favorite channels to watch is Spidey over at the Behavioral Arts. If you are not familiar with his channel, he is basically, I guess you would call him like a mentalist, a magician. And on his YouTube channel, he actually does like body language analysis. And one of the most popular videos, how I found him, he actually did a video analyzing the slap heard around the world between when Will Smith slapped Chris Rock at the Grammys, not the Grammys, at the Oscars, right? So he analyzed the body language of Will Smith at the time, how Chris Rock reacted, and that is how I discovered his channel. But one of the things that Spidey talks about on his channel is he has another video where he talks about how to get what you want, how to ask people for anything. And he basically explains this process of what I call like micro yeses, where if you want to get buy-in from people, you ask them for something small first, and so it makes them saying yes to the bigger thing just make more sense, if that makes sense. So an example of this that he uses in his video is like, Let's say you want to ask your boss for a raise or something. Before you go and ask your boss for a raise, go and ask your boss for something smaller. Go in and say, hey, you got a minute? Can I talk to you about something? And your boss is going to be like, yeah, sure, come on in, right? And so because you got that easy yes from your boss, the next thing that you ask for is going to become a lot more easier for you to get because you already got buy-in from your boss. And the same thing applies when it comes to marketing. So how that looks in the marketing world is when you see people that offer lead magnets, right? And people will say, hey, I will give you this free resource, this free guide. All you have to do is give me your contact information in exchange. And so people be like, sure, you want my email address? Get it. And so they're like, yeah, take my email, give me that free guide. And you have gotten a small micro yes out of that lead. So then when you present your offer, they're going to be more likely to say yes to your offer. So this is basically the law of reciprocity, is you giving them something of high perceived value to them, where it's easy for you to give it to them or create it for them so that you can get that easy yes, so that when it comes to buying your product or service, they're more likely to say yes. And I also call this like value up front. Give people value and then they will feel like they owe you something in return. So the law of reciprocity has become a lost art when it comes to business. But if you are willing to nurture relationships, build your know, like, and trust factor, you are going to have a higher conversion rate than if you're just sliding into random strangers' boxes saying, hey, you need a cartoon logo. Hey, you need a coach, right? You want to nurture that relationship, give people a reason to want to follow you, give people a reason to want to engage with you, and that will make it easier for you to get to the sale later. Another way for you to actually boost your launch sales is going to be implementing some type of scarcity or a sense of urgency. And the three most common ways that you can actually do this is going to be using price scarcity, time scarcity, or quantity scarcity. And depending on what you offer, you may use these different ways. So a great example of price scarcity is if this is the very first time that you are launching and introducing your offer to the world, you may give people a price discount for the first 10 people, right? Because it's a brand new offer, you're going to give them an early bird price, an introductory price. So let's say you're launching a coaching package that is normally $5,000. Because people are the first 10 people to enroll, because they are getting access before anyone else, they're going to be a founding member. You may say you're going to get $1,000 off. So instead of it being $5,000, they only have to pay $4,000. They are getting a $1,000 discount. That is an example of price scarcity. If they don't get it in a specific introductory period, then they will end up paying more, right? In addition to price scarcity, you also can use time as a way to create a sense of urgency. A great way to do this is if you have a specific enrollment people. I know some people who have coaching programs and they only open their coaching program once a quarter or twice a year. And so if you don't enroll during that enrollment period between the 1st and the 15th, then you have to wait until the next cycle for you to actually be able to enroll, right? So that's an example of a time scarcity. If you don't enroll by this date, then you have to wait to the next cycle. If you don't enroll by this date, then you have to actually pay a higher price, right? So that is an example of time scarcity. And last but not least is quantity. When it comes to quantity, you will typically see this used more so by e-commerce brands. A perfect example of this, if you think about when you go onto Amazon and miraculously that widget that you're looking at, it's like one left in stock, right? And so you feel like, oh, if I want this, I got to get it now. It's only one left, right? That is quantity scarcity. So you typically see this used with e-commerce brands, but you can also do this with services and coaching programs and courses as well, especially if you are doing like a group coaching program and this is going to be your first time offering it. Then you may want to limit the number of people that are actually able to join at one time. So you may say, okay, for this next round, I'm only accepting 10 people. So that will be your capacity, and that is an example of having a quantity limitation and scarcity for a coaching program or a course. All right, so now that we have talked about scarcity, let's get to the third way that I love to boost lunch sales, and this is through social proof. When it comes to social proof, this is basically you building your credibility, building the confidence that people have in the program, the service, the product that you're offering, because there's some type of social proof there that lets people know, okay, this is legit, like this has worked for other people, then it can work for me too. Obviously, the most popular way that people use social proof is with reviews and testimonials. You will have previous students that have been in your coaching program. You will have reviews on Yelp, on Google, on your Facebook page for people who have used your products and services before. But outside of just testimonials and reviews, another way that you can actually show social proof if you don't have any testimonials, you don't have any reviews yet, is by simply leveraging statistics that exist within your industry. Why is there a need for your product and services? What are the current struggles that people are going through or dealing with, right? So you can say, okay, let's say that you have a fitness program, and you can say that statistically people are more likely to work out twice as hard when they work out in community. People 30% of people, and I'm making up this statistic, 30% of people are more likely to stay committed to a workout routine when they work out in community, right? So you can actually use that statistic on your sales page, in your marketing message, to help let people know, like, this is why you need to participate in this program. And then in addition to statistics, you can also use case studies, either from your own clients or just white reports from your industry, where you can say, okay, like, this is why what I do is important, and here's an example, here's a case study, here's a white report, binder notes, whatever, that explains why what you do is needed and important for your potential clients. So let me know down in the comments below this video, which one of these methods do you think is going to be helpful to boost your lunch sales. We talked about using the law of reciprocity, doing those micro yeses. We talked about using scarcity by time, quantity, or price. And then last but not least is social proof. So let me know down in a comment which one is your favorite, which ones have you tried, which one are you going to implement in your lunch so that it can be a success. All right, let me know all the tea down in the comments. As always, thanks so much for stopping by my internet home. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on those notifications so you will be the first one to get notified whenever I upload another video just like this.